Michael, victory over Cardiff the other night continues a good run and confidence must be high.
Yeah, obviously results help. Of course they do, and the boys have played well over the last couple of weeks and got what they deserved really out of the games, which is nice to see. And they're enjoying the football, they're enjoying playing together, and some clean sheets, some goals, lots of positives. So looking forward to the, obviously to Saturday, but actually looking forward to the period coming up ahead after the international break to see how much better we can become.
And the victory over Cardiff was very different to the victory over Watford. That makes it 3 points is the most important thing, but it makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, 3 points is by far the most important thing. I think performances then give you the best chance of that. So we've been trying to build those over recent times, and sometimes football throws up different things. The Watford game, for instance, we started well. We had the game where we wanted it. Obviously, we kind of lost control of that in some ways, but managed to get it back. So it was a tough game for us. I thought the Cardiff game in particular, midweek, the longer the game went, we looked comfortable. We looked really in control of the game and got better as it went. So that was an easier finish to the game in some ways, if you like. So different strengths, different attributes that you got to draw on. Different players at times coming on the pitch and making an impact when we need them. So it was encouraging.
And to nobody's surprise, football changes very quickly, doesn't it? Because when one game to go to an international break last time, it was a very different picture. This time around, things are very, very different, things heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it changes quick. I think results obviously have a massive impact on that. There's no denying that. But, it changes quick from the outside. It changes quick on the kind of the outlook in some ways, but it hasn't changed much in terms of us day to day, how we work or what we're trying to achieve. It's the same things, it's the same messages. Huge belief in the boys, and they've done great over the last couple of weeks, and we need to keep that going.
And it's a great game to finish this particular section of the season with, isn't it? Weir T's derby at the Stadium of Light against a team that's flying at the moment. Yeah,
they're playing very well. Had a really good start to the season. Got a young team, but from their point of view, and exciting. A lot of talent there, and Tony's done a terrific job in moulding them together. So a really good game for us. Exciting game. The type of game you want to be involved in and test yourself. The boys will be looking forward to it. The supporters will be looking forward to it, and let's hope for a good game and a good performance from us. Give us a chance of getting the right result.
I know the fans will be excited about it, as you've just said there, but is your message any different? Because it's a derby to Middlesbrough. I'm not sure it's a derby to Sunderland. They'll probably tell you something different, but it is a derby to Borough fans. But is your preparation any different or not?
I think there's the element of understanding the game and the emotion in the game, and you've got to manage that different ways. Like any game, some games you have to maybe need that extra motivation. You almost kick yourself into gear a little bit if it doesn't come quite naturally. Sometimes you can't always be right up for every single game naturally. Sometimes you got almost play tricks on your mind mentally and motivate yourself. Other times it comes and you almost need to calm yourself down and keep your feet on the ground. So it's a constant battle to be in the right spot, to be able to have your peak performance. Of course, there'll be a lot of it's a big atmosphere, a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity around the game. But when you've got to perform, you've got to pull yourself away from that, and you've got to think clearly and have a composure about you, still have that fire in you and that passion which the boys will have. And it's the balance you've got to find for these games, and that's what we look forward to, where you want to be involved in and right at the front of it, and that's what Saturday brings.
Just talking about Tony Mowbray there, you mentioned how good a job he's done. He's a very experienced manager. He's obviously well known to the Middlesbrough fans. He's a legend. He's a hero as a player and a former manager here as well. Does that make any difference on the day?
I don't think that makes any difference. I think Tony's experienced. He's seen a lot in his time, and I'm sure it won't change what he does or how he goes about it. It certainly won't change us. I think we respect him for obviously the manager that he is and the players that they are and the team that they are, because they're dangerous and they're a good team. At how that it kind of affects the game, I'm not so sure. I think it's another game once the ball's rolling and getting our details right, getting our positions right, or attacking the right spaces. All that's kind of the same game to game. It's what we need to get right.
Obviously, you've had a few players out with illness in the last couple of games. How are things on that front?
Yeah, we kind of taking it day by day, to be honest, a little bit, seeing who's okay, hoping no one else kind of takes the hit and steps aside. So yeah, we're monitoring it. We're trying to be as careful as we can and taking precautions and looking after the players as much as we can. So yeah, as of today, hopefully no one's as bad tomorrow.
How do you go about doing that? You know, trying to be careful, because it must be very hard.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do really, and there's work that we need to get done. The players need to train. There's you've got to try your best to kind of prevent anything travelling any further. But we've had 3 or 4 over the last week or so, last few days, and boys are taking care of themselves, that no one else falls foul of the same thing.
Lewis O'Brien, obviously, we're still waiting for news of him. Is there any update there?
Yeah, Lewis will be out for a period of time now. Could be 2, could be 3 months. So disappointment really. He's going to see a surgeon towards the start of next week. So hopefully get that done, the surgery done, and he'll come back with us and rehab and recover as soon as he can. He's a terrific lad, terrific character, and desperate to do all he can to get fit as quick as he can. So really disappointed for him, because he's come in, fitted in so well, and it's a big blow for obviously us, but as well for Lewis. So but you know, we'll work with him. We'll get him back and get him back around us as quick as we can.
What has he done?
He's there was a fracture of the tibia, and as well as a little bit of ankle damage as well. So unfortunate, really, a bit of an innocuous. His foot got stuck in the turf and took a bit of a kick at the same time. So yeah, disappointment, really disappointment. But football's football, and Lewis will make the best of the situation as much as he can, and we'll have to move on quick as well.
Just on the idea of momentum, which can play a massive part, and you are building it nicely, and you can't do anything about it, but does the break come at a bad time this time around, or do you use it to take stock again in a positive manner?
I said it last time, you were talking about the last break being different scenario really. For us it was the same, and it is what it is. You know, we plan for it, we know it's in the schedule, and it's just, that's what's in front of us. You know, we'll try and make the best of it. Some boys going away, some boys staying behind, some boys taking a few days off and freshening up. It's all about getting that balance right of who needs what to be ready for the games when we get back. So it's not really a case of good time, bad time. It just is what it is, and we make the best of it.
And just finally, from me, you know, the fans will be there in their numbers, as they always are, travelling, following the Borough. Any particular message for them ahead of what is a fantastic prospect?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in particular, apart from, you know, it's a great game that we're looking forward to, and the support they've given us over a period of time now has been pretty special. Away from home, you know, selling out and supporting us loud every week. So I think they can see the effort and the kind of attitude that's the boys are giving on the pitch. That's all they can do. We'll have some good games. We'll have some games maybe don't quite go to plan, but hopefully this one does just that and goes to plan quite nicely.
Thank you.
Michael, they say form goes out the window in games like this, but with yourself and Sunderland both in good form at the moment, what sort of game are you expecting?
It's hard to say really. I think I said it last week, it's very difficult to predict what type of game it's going to be. I think goals have an impact in games. If there's an early goal either way, momentum can shift, can swing. Who would predict that we would have been 2-0 up last week at Watford in such a short space of time? So it's difficult to predict. I think there'll obviously be a good atmosphere, a lot of noise in the stadium, a lot of kind of emotion around, and as I said before, in that intensity. So that's part of us, what we've got to manage, and then be ready for whatever the game throws at us.
It's been mentioned that, of course, Sunderland are in a good vein of form. Tony Mowbray's got them playing some very good football. But what weaknesses do you see in them, and how can you go about imposing yourself in that game?
It's not for me to sit here and tell you that. I think listen, they look at us and there'll be things that they can look at and think, you know, they can try to utilise certain things. We look at them as well, and there's certain things that will try and make a difference in the game. That's sport, that's football, but I'm certainly not going to throw them out here right now. I don't think it's necessarily a weakness. It's just certain spots, certain tactics within games that you try to exploit, and obviously it comes down to playing to our strengths. You know, we play how we play, and we believe in it strongly. Tony's the same with his Sunderland team, and it's who's the best on the day that counts.
Is keeping their crowd quite quiet early on quite important for you in a game like this?
I think managing the game is important, yeah. That comes with that in terms of the atmosphere, the momentum within the game, the flow of the game, and obviously how the performance and how that's going at that moment in time. If that's a part of any game, but certainly when there's a game that's a little bit more charged than others, then that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Michael, just on the logistics of Lewis, obviously he'll have his surgery. Did you see he was going to, rehab here, or is he rehabbing at Forest and then?
There'll probably be a bit, but he's Forest's player, obviously, so that'll need working out.
Yeah, and in terms of, since he found out that will be what's required, have you spoken to him at all? How is he?
Yeah, I've spoke to him. Yeah, he's disappointed. Sorry, he's it's a blow. No footballer wants to be injured for any time. So, but he's as I said, fantastic character. He'll do everything he can to be back soon. I've no doubt about that.
Yeah. On the other night, you mentioned you were desperate to give Sam his first start. Since he's been here, how much have you been impressed by him, and what did you think he brought to the team on Tuesday night?
Yeah, Sam's done great since he's been here. I think he's kind of getting up to speed a little bit. He had an injury in pre-season, so he hadn't played a lot of games, so we're kind of building him up a little bit, and we feel like we're doing that over time, and he's an important part of the group. So I think we've got some really good options across that front line, as I've said to you many times before. But I was really pleased with Sam. I thought that you could see the more he got into the game and he got into his rhythm and he found his flow. Really, I thought the longer the game went, the better he got. So good signs for him. Yeah,
and as you mentioned before with others as well, it's about finding them connections with players as well when you're first coming into a new side, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. Training's part of that, but obviously minutes on the pitch you can't really replace that or replicate that. So yeah, good signs for Sam. He'll have a big impact for us, in the games, in the weeks, in the months to come.
Yeah, and obviously Saturday there's a kind of personal tie to that game for him as an ex-Sunderland lad. When you're going into a game like that, on the other side Borough have Hayden and Dale, of course, who Borough lads growing up. Do they almost have to manage that game a bit differently? Because like when you talk about making sure you're on it in terms of the details of the game plan.
Yeah, it's just managing your emotions. I think we all we all love the game because of the emotion, and the certain other games bring different emotions to it, different intensity and different atmospheres, and that's part of it. As a player, it's something you've got to deal with, and you've got to kind of take it a little bit, but then you've got to hide it a little bit as well, and that's the challenge. And the boys have all played in big games and these type of games before, so I don't worry or have any concerns with them of how they deal with that.
Yeah, just lastly from me, the Australian lads, Riley, Thomas, Sam being called up and potentially playing against England at Wembley next week, a stage fairly well. What do you make of that for them, and how beneficial that can be for them?
Yeah, I haven't really given much thought at the minute, to be honest with you. Yeah, listen, it's good for all the boys to go away and play and have the experience of playing for the country, and playing at Wembley against England is a fantastic game for them. So they can look forward to that at the moment, Matt. I think all our heads are firmly on Saturday.
Cheers. Just on injuries, how's Rav?
We're hopeful for Rav that he'll be back in and around it in some way, yeah.
And I don't think we asked you, sorry, I don't think we did in the written part Tuesday, but Alex and Anth being back in the squad, that was a welcome boost, obviously.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's it's funny in a way, you know, just as you're hoping to get some back to have a better squad, you end up losing one or two for all the different reasons. So, but yeah, really pleased to have the Amps been out a while and had frustrating time come back pre-season, getting injured, and Alex obviously playing the game and then taking that blow. So yeah, great to have them back in and around it and making that squad a lot stronger.
The Borough-Sunderland game, every year there's this debate about whether it's a derby. Paul mentioned there that maybe Sunderland don't see it as one. Is it a derby for you?
I mean, what's a derby really? I think it's you know, it's local. Both teams are looking forward to it. Both supporters are looking forward. It means a lot. It means an awful lot. I don't really know, you know, what is a derby these days? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what kind of you say 100% it is or not. But I think it's a huge game for the area. You know, in terms of the North East, fantastic game, and it's why we love football, as I've just said. So. Yeah, we'll have to approach it like any other game. There's no hiding. There's an extra bit of emotion, an extra bit of excitement around the place, and that's brilliant. You've got to use that as a positive.
And the defeat last year, obviously the sending off, and that changed the game, didn't it? Early in the second half, I think it was. Is that up there with the most frustrating games you've had here so far?
Honestly, not particularly. I think it was disappointment on the day. We played okay. We weren't at our best. Yeah, it was a big moment in the game when Dale got sent off. But yeah, listen, we'll learn from it. I think we'll learn from the experience as a group and individuals. You're saying about boys managing the atmosphere and things like that. But yeah, it's kind of in the past. It's done, and we'll move on and see what Saturday brings.
I think Craig's asking you about Sam there, obviously, but Lucas obviously did well on Tuesday night. Manuel came on and scored. Are you starting to see those summer signings settle now, and maybe starting to see the players that you knew you were bringing in?
Yeah, I've seen them since day one, to be honest with you. I think, yeah, of course, results haven't been, start of the season weren't what we kind of hoped for or expected, but it was nothing to do with just being new signings by any stretch. I think it was just finding our way, finding our form, finding our rhythm, and great that the boys have had a good week. You know, the squad's getting stronger, we're improving, we're developing, we're definitely getting better as a team and as a squad. So yeah, really encouraging. I was pleased for them boys in particular because it was a step for them, and there'll be definitely more to come.